Yes, sir. It's your boy Keiz Ali, man. Welcome back to the Ali and Smoke Show, Meet My Friend segment. And this time around, we have Miss Kiki Mattress with us. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing great, man. Thank you for meeting with me on this Sunday morning, man. We just want to learn more about you, learn more about your program. But before we get started, can you tell the viewership who you are, exactly who you are and what you do?
Yeah, I'm Kiki. I'm actually married and have three kids, ages 25, 22, and 20. My baby girl got 1 year and a half left in college, so I'm like really excited about that. I am one of the 60,000 nurse anesthesiologists in the country, one of the 3% African American, which means there's only about 2,000 of us, which is hard to believe. But I am one of those. I'm also the founder of the CRNA Chase and the Future CRNA Society Facebook group. Also co-founder of Health Shield Credentialing, which is actually a company I started with one of my friends last year. And so, yeah, so just really busy. Also being a mentor and a coach, just helping ICU nurses become actually nurse anesthesiologists. And so that's what I do.
Gotcha. Now, you say that only 2,000 of those nurses are possibly
Yeah.
African American. Is that lack of interest or?
No, I think it's just lack of information. They don't know we exist.
Gotcha.
What I
Okay, so
think.
what exactly is the CRNA Chase?
Yeah, so the CRNA Chase actually started out as a blog, probably about 4 years ago when I had first finished school and I was just kind of putting my thoughts out there. I was like, you know what, I struggled trying to become a nurse anesthetist. And so I'm gonna put this down on paper. But what I didn't realize was that people was actually listening to me. And so I had to really tighten up what I was saying and just be intentional with my words and, do some research on some stuff. And so, yeah, it was a blog and then it actually became this online platform where now I offer courses and, programs all designed just to really just drop free game and information. But if they want more, then I have programs and all this other stuff in place.
Now, you said it started as a blog. If you could
Yeah.
date that, how long ago did you start your blog?
Yeah, I started the blog actually in 2019. And
Okay.
I want to say like early part of 2019 is when I started it.
So this is fairly new. It's like you're still only in your fourth year now?
Yes, I think it's coming up on my fourth year. The first 2 years, honestly, was just straight blogging. So now I have over like 75 published articles on the site. And then, like I say, it just kind of evolved from there.
So what exactly motivated you to start your program, and who would be the ideal candidate for someone that wants to sign up for your program?
Yeah, so you know what? I honestly was motivated because I had a difficult time getting accepted into a program. And so then, like I say, once I started putting that on paper, putting it down, I was like, you know what? It's other people out there probably going through some of the same things, like other nurses. And so that's pretty much what motivated me. Also, what motivated me as far as like some of my programs is like my Facebook group, because they are in there and they're asking me questions daily. And it's some of the same questions. I'm like, okay, I feel like they need additional help.
Gotcha. So right now, how many members do you have in that Facebook group?
I almost have 1,000. I'm coming up on
Okay.
1,000. Yeah.
Gotcha. Now, is it just you running the group? Do you have assistants, things like that?
It actually is just me for the most part. I
Oh,
do
wow.
have marketing. Like I have a marketing person that's in the group, but for the most part, it's just me like in there answering all the questions every day. Yeah.
So at what point of my career, if I wanted to join your group and get into your program, at what point do I need to be at? So who is the ideal person before? I mean, where should I be before I reach out to you?
Yeah, so my group really is geared towards ICU nurses who know they want to be a nurse anesthetist, right? Or nurse anesthesiologist. And they are usually the ones that are in ICU, been there about 1-2+ years. They know about being a nurse anesthesiologist because a lot of people don't even know we exist. They think that when they have surgery and they're under anesthesia, that person right there is anesthesiologist, when in fact it's like the nurse anesthesiologist. So they already know about it, and they really just need guidance, support, just the real information, because you can Google some stuff, but you might get some misinformation. That's the
Gotcha.
problem.
Oh yeah, Google is just a bunch of opinions, man. You got to make sure you get the right opinion and the right fact. I do understand that. So
Mhm.
what are some of the general pitfalls? Because I know you created the program because people are having a hard time getting into these different programs. What are some of the pitfalls that they run into when trying to get into a CRNA program?
Yeah, it definitely can be a lot of pitfalls because, and I can use myself an example because I went through all of them. So, so first off, I can talk about, the pitfalls just trying to get into a program versus pitfalls just staying in a program and graduating. That's a whole nother set of problems. But some of the pitfalls would be definitely time, because it's time consuming to have to do all these things, just to qualify and put in an application. So for instance, like I say, you have to be an ICU nurse, right? And so you can't just be any regular nurse off the street, which they are great too in their own right, but you have to be a critical care nurse. You also have to have a bachelor's in nursing degree. So if you
Okay.
already had an associate's, that means you're gonna have to go back to school for another couple of years and get that bachelor's of nursing.
Okay.
Now, some CRNA schools will actually accept a bachelor's in another related science, but not all the schools. So anyway, that's another 2 years you would have to put into it to get that.
Oh man.
Another time consuming thing is just really, applying to different schools, period. So just think about it like this. There's only about 130 schools in the country. So not every state has a school. So you gotta actually, and you're also gonna have a hard time, getting accepted. So that means you gotta apply to more schools. So then you applying to 10 schools, right? And they're all over the country, right? And another thing too is money. So when you're applying to 10 schools, it might be $100 application fee for each school.
Oh wow.
That's already $1,000 right off the bat.
Yeesh.
Right? So then you think about, what if you get an interview? Because they're not just going to accept you based off your paper saying you good, right? They want to see you in person. So then you got to fly to the interview, or you got to rent a car and drive. So it can cost some money to do all these things. Other thing too that kind of set me back was really just my mindset. Just like, can I really do this? Like that right there alone will stop you from doing pretty much everything you want to do.
Now, what was your motivation to take it to that next level? Like you said, you can be a nurse, but you have to jump through these hurdles to get here. What made you want to make that jump?
You know what? So I can go back just a little bit. So nursing isn't my first career. Before nursing, I actually was in engineering technology. And
Okay.
this was back in, like, right out of high school. I went and got my engineering technology degree. So I did try to do that for a little bit, but I found out I really hated it. Like it was not for me. And
Gotcha.
I worked with all these men, and these men did not no, I'm sorry, but these men did not like me, and I didn't like them. So anyway, I decided to switch career paths and go into nursing. So I did that because my grandmother was sick at the time, and I used to help her, just help take care of her and all this stuff. So anyway, while I was on the waiting list, I was on the waiting list for nursing, and while I was waiting, I became a surgical tech. And I did that because I needed to start working pretty quick and make some money. I was actually a single parent before that. And I'm
Oh,
married
okay.
now, but before that, I was like single parent. So anyway, I found out about CRNAs because I was a surgical tech first. And so I remember helping a CRNA one day. She yelled for help. I went over and I helped her. And afterwards, she said, "You should be a CRNA. The way you reacted lets me know you would be great at being a CRNA." Now, I was a surgical tech. I wasn't making hardly no money. And this lady telling me like I could be like a six-figure nurse. And I started laughing like, ma'am, like, I'm in nursing school, but
I
that's
appreciate
small.
it, but come on, get real.
Come on now. So I laughed at her, and she said, "No, like, this is what you need to do. Go do this, this, and this. Like, go ahead and get your bachelor's after you finish your associates. Go to ICU. Take the GRE exam. Go get this certification." And then when she told me that, I was like, a couple of years later, I'm like, man, maybe I can do this. So I just feel like she saw it in me, and then I also feel like it's my purpose. Like I can't see myself doing anything else. Like I
Gotcha.
never hate going to work. Like I'm always like, let's go. Like, and I just feel like it is a huge responsibility. It's definitely stressful, but I feel like again, it's my calling, it's my purpose.
Gotcha. Now your program is broken down into 5 steps. Those steps
Mhm.
are mindsets, requirements, school, application, and interview. Now you
Yep.
spoke to the mindset, just getting over the hurdle of can I do this? Let's talk more about the requirements of the program. So you said you have to have that bachelor's degree. What are other requirements that you must have before you make that leap?
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, got to have that bachelor's of nursing or bachelor's of related science, depending on the school that you apply to.
Uh-huh.
Definitely. And see, this is hard too because every school's different. It's not like medical school where it's standardized.
Yeah.
Everybody turn in an application on this date. Everybody, do this on this date. So right now, all the CRNA schools are on their own time frame, and they got all different application dates, all different interview dates. It makes it really hard. I do believe though in the future that they're going to kind of streamline it, and hopefully one day, it will be standardized. But for right now, usually you have to have your, bachelor's of nursing. You also have to take certain prerequisites. So it might be organic chemistry, it could be statistics, it could be, microbiology. But every school's different. That's another problem. And you have to get a B plus or greater in those.
Oh,
Like you
wow.
can't just take it and say I took it. You got to actually get the grade, right?
Oh, okay.
And that's important to know because once you get into CRNA school, you actually can't get below a B plus in anything, or you like your average can't drop below B
Oh
plus,
my
or you're
God.
out the door. It's like adios, see you later. It's no remediation.
So you went to school as a single mom and still had to keep a B plus through this whole time?
I went to school like for my nursing and did not always get a B plus. That's when I was a single parent, but I got married early on, like in my nursing. But
Okay.
there are definitely people out there who single parents who can't get below a B plus in CRNA school.
Man, I struggled getting a marketing degree and I I coasted through with some C's. So I
Now,
can I can only imagine trying to keep it being. This stuff is difficult. I tried to look deeper into it to get an understanding and it was just like flying over my head. So just thinking about having to keep a B plus is crazy. Now, your
yeah.
program, when it comes to schools, do you outline the requirements of each school? How do you what does your program do exactly when it comes to schools?
So what I do is within my program, I actually, because I do one-on-one and also do group coaching.
Okay.
But my one-on-one is really easy because we narrow down their school list. And we don't just apply to random schools. It's
Okay.
actually very detailed and it's strategic because it's no point in applying to a school that's saying our last cohort of students got a 4.0 average and you got like a 3.1. There's,
Yeah.
there's really no point
Yeah, there's
in.
no point.
It's not saying you not going to get accepted because you could get accepted based off some other things, but your chances are slim. So the goal of my program is to give you the best chance of getting accepted. So we narrow down that list, and then from there we start making connections with the school. So that's another thing is
Okay.
a lot of the students right now or nurses right now is that, they don't really want to talk. They don't really want to contact anybody, and because I'm the same way, I'm not going to lie. It's getting worse and worse now with the pandemic. I don't really want to talk to people. I'm
Yeah.
okay in my own little space, in my bubble, but you really need to get out and network with some of these schools and these programs. And one of the ways to do that is by going to open houses, by calling them up, by emailing them. So it's just stuff like that that I really teach within my programs.
Gotcha. Now, when it comes to the next step application, are you actually walking them through the application process? Are you helping them fill it out? What are you doing when it comes to the application?
So the application process itself, it does include a lot of different things. So they having to do one online, but they also have to turn in like a CV, which is a resume, but
Resume.
a CV, which is very detailed resume, in a personal statement. So that personal statement, the school is going to say like, I want you to write a personal statement on what are your goals for the future versus one school might say, why should we accept you? So every school is different. So that means you're going to have a different personal statement
Oh my
for
God.
each school, right? And so what I do is I make sure their CV is, I'm not going to write the CV for them, right? Like I'm not going to do all the work for you, but
Gotcha.
I'm going to get you started on your CV and make sure it's optimized for that school. So that means like having certain keywords in there that school is kind of looking for. Also, as far as their personal statement, I now know after, reviewing like hundreds of personal statements, what needs to go into that personal statement to make it compelling, because you really want that admissions committee to, once they start reading, they read it all the way through. You don't want them to be like, oh, let me toss this to the side. So you really want to make each paragraph compelling, but also have a transition. And so that's pretty much what I help them with. And then the third thing I help them with the application is there letters of recommendation? That is really important. You don't want just anybody writing your recommendation letter, right? Like you, so we got to be careful. Yeah, we got to be careful with that. So those are 3 things I help with.
Now, can I just drop your name and get into school?
Hey, you know what? You know what? I ain't gonna say drop my name. Well, then again, I don't know. I had somebody who did drop my name and they did get accepted. I actually dropped somebody's name and they got accepted.
Oh, okay. I'm glad to know if I ever want to switch careers, I know who name to drop going forward. And the last part of your program that you outlined was interview. So do you do like practice interviews with them? Are you telling them what to say, what not to say, what to dress, things like that?
Exactly. I do all of that. So I actually, one of my services I offer is mock interviews. And so in the mock interviews, which is really important, because I always say, if you can get to the interview, you got a really good chance of getting accepted, right? Like you right there. So if you can kill that interview, I'm telling you got a good shot. So what I do is I have this 4-step system that I pretty much the same system that I use to get accepted, that I've pretty much turned into, put in all my programs now. And so we definitely go through all those things you mentioned, but it starts out with researching the school. So if we can try to find out like what type of questions they ask, as far as, is it a group interview where it's a lot of people interviewing at once, which I hate, or is it more individual interviews, which I love? And then like what type of questions, as is, do they ask you personal questions or behavioral, or is it more emotional intelligence, or is it all clinical? Now, those are the tough ones where they're asking you stuff related to your everyday critical care patient. So we go through all that, and then we actually do the interview, and then I offer feedback, and then we do the do's and the don'ts. And then I give you a guide with all the questions like that I know of that they could possibly ask you. So it's like a vault of questions.
And they just got to go through, study, listen to you.
You just got to do the work. Yeah, so you just got to do the work. That's it.
So what's like, and if you don't want to answer this, I can understand, but what's like the acceptance rate for someone that comes through your program? Is it like 100% you come through here, you getting in, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I know I don't know about for my program yet, because it's still in the testing phase part of it, because I just launched in the summer as far as the one-on-one. But I do know my mock interviews, everybody who's done a mock interview with me pretty much has gotten into CRNA school.
All right. That sounds good.
Yeah, because I'm proud of that number. So yeah, so just about everybody who's come through has got accepted.
Now, shadowing is another thing that I saw as I was researching on you. Does the shadowing come after the interview, or when does the shadowing come into play, and how does that work with your program?
Yeah, so the shadowing is something you should do the shadowing is something you should do when you're thinking about, hey, I want to pursue this.
Okay.
Because just like you see somebody job wise, you're like, man, I wonder what type of job this is. It's something I'd be interested in. Oh, can I come up there and spend a day with you at work, such and such? Yeah. It's the same thing. So they just come to the hospital, spend a day with a CRNA, and see if this is something they might be interested in. Because what you don't want to happen is they get all the way into a program and they realize they hate it. And they spent all this money. And CRNA school is not cheap. That's another thing. It's very expensive. Because I had this happen to a girl in my class. She actually got all the way through school, got into clinical. So she's probably like 13 months in, and she was like, I don't see myself doing this forever. And now she got tuition, probably like 60, 70,000 in tuition, and never finished the program. So I really stress that. And also some of the CRNA schools require you to have shadowing experience. Because they want to know like you're serious and that, you're passionate about doing this. And you also, gave up time because you got to take off work and stuff to go shadow, but you should want to do that though. Right. Like you should want to. Yeah. So yeah, it's very important.
Now, is it difficult? Now, you made it seem like he was just giving Prism a call, like, "Hey, my name Keiz, and I want to come shadow." Is it that easy, or does it take like how exactly do you get to that point of shadowing someone? Is it just a phone call?
I mean, honestly, it could be that, but nobody really wants to pick up the phone and call. So I don't know. So they'll ask me though. They real quick to ask me. So what happens is usually, ICU nurses are already working in the hospital. Ideally, whenever the CRNA, sometimes they drop patients off, take them back to ICU. They could ask them then. Like if you already formed a relationship with them, which you should be doing, like I ain't saying like be best friends with them, but
Yeah.
you see them and you're like, hey, how you doing? Da 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 da. I just want to let you know, like I'm really interested in being a CRNA. Just wondered if I could shadow you or someone in your department. That's really all it takes.
Okay.
But
Okay.
one of the problems that special travel nurses, they're running into problems right now because they're not really an employee of that hospital. They just they're on contract.
Mhm.
So then the hospital don't want to help them find shadowing at the hospital. So that's when they come to me, and then I
Okay.
kind of try to help them. Yeah.
Try to help them out. Now, you've told me about the program and how the program works, but I want to know a little bit about the marketing side. I'm a marketing major, so I want to
Yeah.
know about the marketing aspect of your program. How much time does it take away from the coaching, from your day to day, to actually go out on social media and and tell people, "Hey, I'm over here. Come holler at me. Come sign up." How do you balance the two, and how actually do you market to nurses?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm still working on it, but it can, I actually need you. I tell you. It can be time consuming because just trying to do all the things, and then I'll still also work full time, so it's a lot. But what I will say is that how I pretty much market is through my Facebook group. So it makes it a little easier. So, when they come into my Facebook group, they answer a set of questions. One of the questions is, do they want access or more information about my programs? If they say yes, I can reach out to them. That I also ask for their email address, so it gets them on my email list. So I also kind of market through my email list too. Actually, that's the number one way, through my email list, which is about 1,300
Okay.
nurses on there right now. So because I had the site up and all that before, way before the Facebook groups, I already had some on there. So and then the other way too is, as far as social media, my daughter helps me out a lot. My 22-year-old, she helps me out a lot. We meet once a week and we go over like what I'm going to put up for my social media. At least we were doing that. Now she has a full-time job because she just graduated. She just graduated from college. So now she has her first official job. So that's really good. So now I actually have a marketing person that I have just brought on board. And so of course that's time consuming too, because then you
Yeah.
got to get your brand and they got to get your voice right. And so yeah, I probably was spending, I looked it up one time, I was spending like 10 hours a week just on my social media, just trying to do all the things. But I think I'm trending down now, so I should be getting a little bit better with that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Now, when it comes to the email groups, or on your email group, excuse me, are you using some type of software? Or are you manually sending out emails? How does that work?
No, I pretty much have it automated now.
Okay, good, good,
I mean,
good.
now early on I didn't, because I didn't know what I was doing, but since then I've learned a lot, for one. And I'm also part of a mastermind. Like I'm part of a few different mastermind groups that's really show me what I need to be doing. And that's the thing too. Like people don't really want to invest in, and I'm getting all off subject here. People don't want to invest in themselves, and they need to, right?
Yeah,
Because I went
yeah.
and found somebody who has already done it before me. So if you need to find a mentor, coach, a business coach, sales coach, whatever you need to do, you definitely need to do that. So that's what I did. So I'm in a mastermind. So I have access to a social media, expert, and like I say, business coach, sales coach, all this stuff within my mastermind group. So what I use is Kartra, and Kartra handles actually my email list, and so it's my CRM, and it handles like all my courses, my memberships, my
Oh
landing
yeah.
pages, everything, sales pages. So yeah, I'm covered on that, and I actually know it pretty well. So I actually put it all together myself though. So it's
Great, great,
taken a
great.
whole year to probably figure it out, but yeah.
Great. I'm happy to hear that, because if you were doing it manually, when we finished up, I was going to shoot you a couple recommendations
I
to go handle
appreciate
that
that.
stuff, because
I
I know
appreciate
that
it.
having an email list and text message list and programs, that stuff can become time consuming, but having that
It do.
automation does help out. Now let's talk about the packages that you offer. You've mentioned the mock interviews. You've mentioned helping with applications, helping to find
Mhm.
schools. Can you speak to some of your packages that you offer?
Yeah, so I have probably about 4 things that I offer. I try to not, have too much stuff out there. It gets a little crazy if you have too much stuff going on. But I have what's called the inner circle. So future CRNA inner circle is for ICU nurses who, they definitely know they want to be a CRNA, but they're not quite ready to apply yet. And so that just kind of keeps them motivated and engaged. And I'm still like dropping advice and gems to them. And we meet monthly. And I record all we meet monthly, but I think I'm gonna make it like 2 to 3 times a month. I hadn't told them yet, but I think I'm gonna switch that up. I hadn't announced it yet. But so yeah, so we meet, and so I drop all the gems and stuff. And then I also have like special guests that come on, 3 special guests a year. And I also help them with their strategy. So we do like a strategy session. I actually really like the inner circle. It's pretty cool. I record it, and so then I put all the replays in their membership portal, because nurses work so many different crazy hours. I don't want them to miss anything, so it's in their membership portal. Another program I have that we've talked a little bit about today is the group coaching.
Mhm.
That is the one that will be rolling out in the next week or two. And I'm excited about that one because again, it's like the community feel. I like the community feel. And I get to reach more nurses all at one time, so that's very important. So basically it's going to max out at, I don't want no more than 10 ICU nurses in it. And so it will be 6 live workshops. The first one is one-on-one. It's a mindset and strategy session. And then after that, you'll have 5 more live sessions. Again, those also be recorded and put in the replay portal, or actually emailed to them, one or the other.
Okay.
And then it also has a curriculum that goes along with it. So modules. So they'll always just have the modules in that information. So anyway, I'm really excited about that. And also I'll do CV and personal statement reviews. And so that'll be 2 rounds of those. And then the other one is the one-on-one coaching, which is actually something that I started last summer. And I actually just, took that data and information from that and formed a group coaching. So I still have that. I love doing that too, but that takes a lot of time away just
Yeah.
doing one person. So I can only do about 4. I do like 4 a month sometime, and I do that for 10 weeks. So
Hold on. I'm sorry
for
for
10
cutting you
weeks.
off. You do all of this plus you work? Like you're
Yeah.
full. What? How do you have this much time?
I don't even know. I honestly don't
Wow.
know, because I was doing a lot of this stuff while my girls was playing volleyball. Like they play volleyball. They've been playing since they were 8 and 10 in travel volleyball, and they play in college. And so I was still doing a lot of this then. So I don't know. I just I literally get off work and I come home and I open up the laptop and I just get busy and do what I got to do. And then as far as the coaching, I usually do it like on certain days. So like maybe a Friday evening, and then on Saturdays I do it. So yeah, it's working. It's working out. If it gets too crazy, I actually have a couple of other coaches that I can, get to help me if I need to, do some other things. But yeah, so the group coaching is actually 6 weeks, and then
Okay.
the one-on-one is 10 weeks, and then I think I have the mock interviews, and so that's just one session that we can do. So yeah.
That is a lot. The one thing I haven't heard you say is, do you ever go out and have, like, I know you said you have the live group, but do you ever have in-person sessions, like when you bring people to like maybe a library room or a conference hall or something like that?
I don't, but it's something I'm thinking about,
Okay.
because I feel like it's needed, and I'm also noticing too that there's a lot of ICU nurses in my area that has found me. And I'm like, I could easily start right here in my own hometown in South Carolina. So
Yeah.
but yeah, that's actually a good idea. It's something I've been thinking about.
Got you. Now, the last thing, two last questions, and I'll let you go because you are a very busy woman. What words of wisdoms do you have to share with my viewership? It could be about your program. It can just be how you feeling this Sunday morning. Just words
Yeah.
of wisdom. We like to ask everyone that comes on.
Okay. Yeah. So every week I get messages about, ICU nurses being fearful and scared that, they're not going to get accepted. They're scared of the unknown. They're scared. I mean, they're scared of everything. Right. And so it's almost like every week I'm talking somebody off the ledge, like I'm like, no, you can do it. You can do it. You can do it. And so what I want to say is that your fears are valid. Right. I'm not dismissing your fears at all. I've been there. Fear has kept me from doing a lot of things in life, right? But what I want to say is that it's like you have to address the fear, you have to face the fear, and then it's like, what's next, right? So what? Like you have to address it and you have to keep moving. So what I would say is feel the fear and do it anyway. Just do it scared.
Do it scared.
That's it. I do everything I do every day. I'm doing it scared. It's
Gotcha.
valid, but it shouldn't stop you.
Okay, thank you for that. And for anyone that hasn't called on just yet, how can they get in contact with you? Where they can find you at social media, all that good stuff.
Yeah, they can find me on my website, the CRNAChase.com. Also have the Facebook group, Future CRNA Society. And like my social media handles is pretty much Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn is usually what I'm on. And on those, I'm just at the CRNA Chase.
Got you. Well, thank
Yeah.
you so much for your time this morning, man. I've learned a lot. I don't know if I can handle this program. I don't know if I can handle all of that. I got, a lot. It's a lot. It's actually a lot. But I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate you letting my viewership know how to get in contact with you, what you can do, how you can help them, and things like that. And you're a fellow South Carolinian, so I'm rooting for you all the
That's
way.
great.
I might not can understand what you got going on, but I'm still cheering for you all the way to the end. But thank you for your time, guys. Thank you for watching. This has been Meet My Friend, Kiki Mattress, the Ali and Smoke Show. Make sure you follow her. Make sure you follow us. And nurses, if you're ready to make that step, this is who you need to get in contact with. Drop her name. She'll get you accepted. It's your boy, Keiz Ali, and y'all have a great day.